Hey guys, welcome back to the Far From Healed podcast where we chop it up about trauma because we all have trauma we don't want to talk about, and well, I'm here to talk about it. All right, on this episode, it's the BioMom versus StepMom, the battle of respect. I know, speaking from experience, I've battled with my own feeling of being respected or not feeling respected or respecting the other parent, even. I mean, shout out though, because we have overcome a shit ton of stuff. So I have nothing but understanding now. But it wasn't always easy, if I'm being honest. Which these days I try to only live my life as a truther. So shout out to me. Let's see. How do you guys, as step parents, battle the respect problem? Or, I mean, maybe there even isn't one, which I guess in hindsight is what we all strive for, essentially, right? But if there are those problems, how do you guys work through that? I mean, everybody is different. Everybody works through things differently. So drop a comment below. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Here is a wild little story for you guys. I'm 5 years older than my sister, and I was born in Mesa, Arizona. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we leave Arizona, we go live somewhere, and then we come back to Arizona. And then my sister was born 5 years later in Arizona too. Crazy. Two different moms, same place. All right. Oh, I dropped something. Sorry. Here, here's where I think I boggle myself a little bit because how is this even part of my, how is this even part of my story? Okay, so while my sister was being born, my biological mom was coaching my mom through her birth, side by side. And then my little sister was here. Like, I'm not sure if anybody could truly relate to that kind of scenario because I just find it super out there. It's it's not the most common. I mean, shout out to the moms and the bio moms and the stepmoms and all the moms who just can rock with it like that, because I just know from my experiences, from other experiences I've had, that's not going to be the most common thing. So if you guys have any scenarios or stories that are relatable or aren't relatable to that, drop it below. We're trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because I love learning. I love learning new things. I am always open to hearing new things. So please, please, please reach out. And I mean, given the struggle that my parents were going through, just in general in life, with each other, without each other, I just feel like that truly is the craziest thing to hear because how? Just how did that even happen? Fast forward just a few years later, my biological mom was diagnosed with brain cancer, which, is an emotional bomb in itself, right? I mean, I just like, how does my mom have cancer? I'm only 8 or 9 at the time. So that's kind of a hard thing to absorb, like cancer, just cancer. And then just a small time later, or I mean, small to me, it feels like, my stepmom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And now I'm 13 or 14, and I'm thinking, I'm watching both of my moms battle cancer, two different types of cancer, and they're both going through chemo and they're both going through radiation. And it's like, how how as a kid do you maintain friendships? How do you, do your sports that you're doing and love life and just, keep going about business as it is? I mean, you don't, I don't think. I mean, you start periods, you go through emotional transformative times of your life. So it's like, how do you act like things are normal? I mean, for me, I feel like I think I did for the most part. I still had to keep living my life, so I had to keep going through all those cycles and just keep doing, you know, the motions. But I think now looking back as an adult, I don't know that I processed it the way I should have as a kid, obviously, given the life that I've lived and the trauma I've experienced. I know that I shoved that stuff deep, 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 deep down. I mean, fun fact about me is I love to take pictures. I keep memories because I feel like I have such a hard time remembering my own past. You know, like I'm saying, I'm creeping up on 25,000 pictures and videos. My phone is tired. Um, which will lead into another episode about, dissociative disorder. But we'll stay on track for now because I can get sidetracked real easily. Forgive me, forgive me. So now when I see the pictures of my childhood, I feel like I look disassociated in them because I like they're not memories in my brain. They're just like pictures that I'm looking at. So like that is kind of a trip and I've experienced that multiple times in my life for sure, but now that I'm actively, trying to get through this stuff, it just is like not a memory, which is just kind of like a trip. Um, you know, blame this, blame that. Like, how do you pinpoint where to blame or how to pick why you are the way you are? I don't think there's any one person to blame for that. I mean, how do you blame two moms going through cancer and a dad doing his best? You just you don't. You don't. You blame the inability to feel the feelings that you have during that time. Like, let me be clear. I'm not blaming any one parent. I'm not blaming any one person. I am blaming the fact that the situation was so hard then that I didn't know how to process it. I didn't I think that's just kind of it, like I just didn't know how to process that heavy of stuff at that age. And when you shove stuff down as deep as you think you do, and then you drink every day, now that I'm not drunk every day and I'm not trying to actively hide from the pain, I'm trying to explore healthy ways to work through that trauma. Hence this beautiful new podcast you guys are listening to. And I think that in the reality, like how I said in the beginning, like there are so many things that traumatize people that none of us want to talk about. And I mean, like, even for a long time, I didn't want to talk about my own stuff. And I think that's probably pretty normal, right? Because, like, how do you want to talk about the hard stuff? Therapy. Girl, I went to therapy. I love therapy. Therapy works when you want therapy to work. And therapy is definitely not going to work when you're trying to force it and you're trying to do what you think, everybody thinks you need. I went to therapy because I was rotten to my core, like how I felt in my core. So I went to therapy to change that kind of stuff. But healthy ways to process things really is hard. And I don't think anybody talks about that either. It truly is hard to be healthy when all you've lived is a toxic life, all you've had is toxic interactions. And I just don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my babies. I don't want that for my partner. I don't want that for anybody. I don't think that's how you should live your life. I think everyone should want to be happy and should want to be joyful and share memories and make memories, and hence the 25,000 pictures cuz I love memories. I'm always trying to make memories. I want that for everybody. So to wrap up this episode, growing up with two moms on quote unquote two different sides was easy at times, yes, but at other times the struggles built me into the badass queen I am today. Shout out. And if you as listeners can take away anything from this specific episode, the struggling you experience as a child shouldn't break you down, but it should build you up because I mean anything can take you out if you let it, right? So you really just need to take that, work through that, and work to live in a more peaceful mindset, I think, which is, harder said than done, obviously. And also for the kids that were raised by two moms, a mom and a step parent or a bonus parent, however you want to refer to them. How do you think that affects your parent? How do, sorry. How do you think that affects how you parent your own children as a bonus parent, you know, or alongside a bonus parent, whatever it may be, how it's different for you. It may break down different for everybody, obviously, but don't be afraid to drop a comment below because we all want to get to know each other. I mean, come on, let's be real. I'm funny. Get to know me. You'll love me. I promise. As always, this is the Far From Healed podcast where we chop it up about trauma. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for the next episode.